Hello and welcome to Real World Retouching. A photographer sent me a few images and told me she is getting some kind of problems or struggling trying to get white and consistent white backgrounds. So I think this is a good example of solving this common situation. In this case, as we can see, we do have a lot of bluish tint in the backdrop. So in this case, where we do not have any of the tint in the subject, it is pretty easy to solve. We can use the hue and saturation adjustment layer. If we are not sure which color is that the one we want to change, we can use the hand, select the color, and then we can remove all the saturation of this. If we do this, we will be sure that there is no color at all in this part, but we will have a shade of gray. Of course, this is not pure white, this is a shade of gray, and it is okay that it doesn't be blown like pure white. If you are not sure, if you are selecting all in the backdrop, you can increase the saturation to +100 and take a look. If you see something like this, you will know that you're good. By the way, this is a very small JPEG. This is why you see all these artifacts in the raw image will look better. So if we decrease all the saturation, we will have pure gray. If we want to add a small color tint or a small shade of any hue to the backdrop, and maybe it is a good call instead of having pure gray, we can shift the hue just a little bit, maybe for something more, in this case, I don't know, warmer, and then decrease the saturation, because the whites or all the colors in the image must be inside the color scheme, and pure white sometimes is kind of dull. So have some color in the whites, some tint in the whites will help you to create more depth or more environment to the entire image. If you want to also increase the luminosity, you can do it with the lightness slider. Good part of this is in cases like this, where we do not have any blue in the subject, we do not even need a layer mask. And this is really good because we can copy doing Command C or Control C to this adjustment layer, select the next image in this session, and then press B, Command B, I'm sorry, or Control V for paste. And we will have the same exactly backdrop. So this will be consistent. The situation is different when we do have to select the subject or we do not want to remove a part of the blues, in this case, to any part of the subject. In this case, let me show you what happens if we do remove all the blues in the subject. But well, in the entire image, I will select the blues, I will remove it completely. And if we pay attention to the code, when we do remove all the color, it doesn't look like pristine clean. It looks like, I wouldn't say moody, but not white. If we want to something looks pretty white, we will want to add a cooler tint, for example, blue or cyan, to make it pop. It's called something like optical white. So in this case, if we remove completely the blues, we will also remove the blues from this fabric or from the coat, and we will want to preserve just a small portion of the blues in here. So for this, what we can do is do a quick selection of the subject. You can do it going to select, and subject. And when you have the subject selected, you will select the layer mask and fill the layer mask with black. If I do this, what I will end up is with the subject too blue. Not the subject, the fabric on the subject, it's kind of too blue. And I only want to preserve a small portion of this blue. What I will do for make this faster is change the density of the layer mask. So instead of blocking all the effect from this adjustment layer, I will only reduce it. For this, I will select something around here. And as you can see now, we are muting the blues in the code, but not completely. This is without the layer mask, and this is with the layer mask. If we have multiple images from this same session, what we can do is copy and paste this, but of course we will need to redo the layer mask because this layer mask is for the other subject. So we will need to again select the subject and now fill with black. It looks gray because the density is lower. It's not at 100%, it's lower. So it looks like 45% gray or 45% black, I'm sorry, because the density is set to 45%. This is the before and after, and the same case in here. This is the before and after. If we want to compare, we can go to range, and let's say to up vertical, and this is what we have. Let me do something because this looks a little more bluish. Better. Now it looks more similar. I want to use this video to show you one more thing. In the case this image needs to be for web, maybe they will need a different aspect ratio or a different resolution, something like this maybe. In this case, we will want to extend this, and for this, maybe the best way or the fastest way to do it is use a empty layer over everything, select the whitest part of the backdrop, get the gradient tool, pressing G, and in here you will select in the basics for foreground to transparent. When you select foreground to transparent and you came to the very edge, we can do something like this, and we will end up with something like this. Of course, we can see the difference because we selected the whitest part of the backdrop, and as you can see, this looks like moody in the middle. And for this, what I will do is use a layer mask, increase the luminosity, invert the layer mask, and now I will do something like this, and maybe to the other side as well, something like this. And let me group this with itself. And I think we are good. I do not want to get this at 100% white, so let me check if we are good. Yes, we are at, if you take a look in here, in the values, we are not blowing this. We have 3% of ink in here, or black. Of course, if they need pure white, we can do it. If you need pure white in here, one way to do it is using, for example, we can do it with a solid white layer, and let's use a layer mask in here. Let's use black layer mask, why not? And then maybe we can use a gradient to do something like this, because we will want to have pure white, but not in all the spaces, because we will need to preserve a portion of the subject, because we do not want to make the subject looks like it's floating, because it will look weird. In here we are, let me check, in an empty layer, we are at 0% or 255 all around. And when we are start getting closer to the subject, we do have some kind of gray. Okay, in the next class we can, or even in this one, I will do it in this one. If we are doing this in this way and this image will go for web, we will need to send this image in 8 bits per channel, because it will be displayed in web. It doesn't matter if we are working in 8 bits or 16 bits. If we do this in this way, sometimes we will produce banding. One thing we can do for avoid this, if we take a look to this layer mask, pressing Alt or Option and click, and now we select Command and click in the layer mask icon, we will select the whites. Doing this, after I do create the selection, I will go to Filter, Noise, Add Noise, and I will add some small portion of noise, something around, I don't know, 22%. Doing this, the noise will not be visible on web. You will not see anything. You will not see noise. It will not look like noisy or broken, but it will help you a lot for reduced banding, especially if you will need to compress this image a lot. Okay, if you have any doubt of any part of this process, we can talk about or create different videos for this. I hope you can learn different techniques from this video. So for the moment is all I have. And if you have images for share and you need to solve anything, let me know and we can record more videos. So thank you very much and see you in the next video. Bye bye.